We are counting down the 12 costliest maintenance mistakes that dealerships hope you never spot. From everyday blunders that secretly drain your wallet to hidden habits that can wreck your engine or leave you stranded, each entry exposes a new way riders are set up to fail and overpay. Forget what the dealer tells you. These 12 rookie moves could mean the difference between a machine that runs for decades or a catastrophic bill next season. Ready to see how a simple shortcut can turn a $40 oil change into a $400 disaster? Let us start with number 12. Number 12 is the classic do-it-yourself grenade, over-tightening the oil drain plug. It is a $40 oil change until you crank that bolt down like you are trying to hold the engine together. Then it becomes a $400 lesson in physics and regret. One twist too far and those soft aluminum threads let go. Now you are staring at a cracked oil pan, stripped threads, and a repair bill that wipes out your riding budget for the season. The manual for a Honda CB500F spells it out, 25 Newton meters, not an inch more. That is about as much force as tightening a garden hose. The fix is simple. Start the plug by hand every time, then finish with a torque wrench set to the exact spec. Listen for the click, not your ego. Skip the gorilla grip. Every mechanic has a drawer full of ruined pans from riders who thought tighter meant safer. Do not be that story. Dealerships love to slap a $700 fork rebuild invoice on your counter the second they spot a little oil weeping down the fork leg. $700. Here is the truth. 9 times out of 10 that leak is not a blown seal or a worn-out fork. It is just a tiny bit of road grit stuck at the seal lip. The dust seal catches debris, and one speck is all it takes to let oil sneak past. The fix costs nothing and takes 5 minutes. Grab a plastic seal mate or a thin feeler gauge, slip it gently between the fork tube and the seal, and sweep out the grime. Wipe clean, pump the fork a few times, and watch the leak disappear. That is it. No teardown, no special tools, no $700 drain on your wallet. If oil is pouring out or the fork feels spongy, you have got a real problem. But for a little weep, do not let a dealer turn a $0 fix into a payday. Premium fuel is a dealer's favorite wallet vacuum. Every pump, every fill-up, you are handing over an extra 75 cents a gallon for a number that means nothing to your bike unless the manual demands it. Octane is not horsepower. It is just resistance to detonation, insurance for high-compression engines you probably do not own. The average street bike runs perfectly on regular, and the manufacturer spells it out in black and white. Crack open the manual for a Honda CB500F, a Yamaha MT-07, or a Kawasaki Ninja 400. You will see 87 or 89 octane, not 91. Yet riders keep pouring in the good stuff, convinced by pump stickers and old racing myths. Ride 1,000 gallons a year, and you are out $750 for absolutely zero gain. Worse, running premium in a bike that does not need it can actually lead to carbon buildup in rougher running. Stop burning money for a placebo. Read your manual, use the exact octane it calls for, and put that $750 back in your pocket where it belongs. Coolant is the silent killer most riders forget until the bill lands. Inside every water-cooled bike, coolant breaks down with time, not just miles. 2 years, maybe 3, and it is loaded with moisture and acids that eat away at aluminum, gaskets, and water pumps. Ignore it, and you are looking at corroded passages, leaking seals, and a warped head gasket. That is a $2,000 repair for something you could have fixed with a $50 flush and an hour in the garage. The owner's manual does not mince words. From 24 to 36 months, out with the old, in with the new. Do not trust the color either. Coolant can look clean while it is busy wrecking your engine from the inside. The fix is not complicated. Drain the old coolant, flush the system with distilled water, then refill with motorcycle-specific coolant. No dealer markup, no mystery labor, no surprise failures. This is how you keep your engine out of the machine shop and your wallet out of the dealership's hands. Dealerships love to sell fear, and brake fluid flushes are their favorite easy money. Every year, like clockwork, you get pitched a $200 flush because supposedly your brakes will fail if you don't. Here's the truth. DOT-4 brake fluid does absorb moisture, but not at the rate they want you to believe. In a sealed system, it picks up about 1 to 2% water per year. That is not enough to turn your fluid into soup in 12 months. The real test is not on a calendar, it is right in the reservoir. Pop the cap and check the color. If it is clear or pale amber, you are fine. If it is dark brown or murky, that is when you change it. No fancy tools, no dealer scare tactics. Manufacturers recommend a flush every 2 years for a reason. Color does not always tell the whole story, but it is a reliable warning sign for most street riders. Save yourself the annual shakedown. Check your fluid once a month, trust your eyes, and only pay for a flush when you actually need it. That is how you keep $200 in your pocket and your brakes working when it matters. Walk down the cleaner aisle at any dealership and you will spot bottles with names like ProMoto Wash or Nanotech Bike Cleaner on the label, $20 a pop, promising magic chemistry for your ride. Flip the bottle over and you will find the same ingredients as the $6 household degreaser in your kitchen: water, surfactants, maybe a dash of fragrance. S100, Muck Off. All the big brands, check their safety data sheets and you will see non-ionic surfactants and sodium citrate, just like Simple Green or regular car wash soap. The cleaning power is identical. The only thing that is different is the sticker and the price. Let us do the math. A $20 cycle cleaner gets you a liter of soap and a load of marketing. That is $14 more than the household version for the same job. Clean your bike every other week and you are out $140 a year for nothing but a logo. When independent tests line up specialty cleaners against household brands, the results are clear. No extra shine, no better protection, just a lighter wallet. Skip the hype. Grab a basic degreaser for the greasy bits, carnauba wax for the paint, and window cleaner for the plastics. Your bike does not care about branding. Your bank account will notice the difference. Save the cash for fuel or gear. Do not let a fancy bottle rob you blind. Chain cleaning is where riders throw money away before they even swing a leg over the bike. The dealer has a $100 chain cleaning kit on the shelf with fancy brushes, plastic guards, and a bottle of solvent with a logo. It sits in your garage collecting dust because you are convinced you need the right gear before you can even start. Meanwhile, your chain is quietly grinding itself and your sprockets into scrap metal. Skip enough cleanings and you are staring at a $350 bill for a new chain and sprockets, all because you waited for the perfect tool instead of grabbing what works. Here is the truth. Kerosene and a cheap brush do the job better than any overpriced kit. Kerosene dissolves grime, evaporates clean, and will not eat your O-rings. A nylon or brass brush costs less than a cup of coffee. 10 minutes, once a month, and your drivetrain will outlast the bike. The only chain cleaner that matters is the one you actually use. Stop letting a $100 kit be your excuse for neglect. Grab the basics, get your hands dirty, and keep your hard-earned cash where it belongs. Chain lube is where the dealership marketing machine really goes to work. You are told you need an aerosol that costs $58 a year. O-ring, safe, race-tested, all buzzwords, when the truth is a $12 bottle of synthetic motor oil or lightweight gear oil does the job better. Mechanics who have seen 1,000 chains swear by it. Here is why. Aerosols blast lube everywhere except where it matters, leaving sticky overspray on your wheel and frame. Lay down a white card and spray. Half the can ends up as a mess. Liquids go exactly where you put them. They penetrate the rollers, cling to the O-rings, and actually stay put when you ride. That means less fling, less grime buildup, and more miles before your chain starts grinding itself to death. Forget the label. What matters is habit. Apply a thin bead of synthetic oil along the inside of the chain, spin the wheel, wipe off the excess. Do it every 500 miles or after rain, and your chain will outlast any premium lube. Stop paying for a logo and start treating your chain like the critical drive component it is. The difference is real. $58 a year for hype, or $12 for results that keep your drivetrain running smooth. A wheel bearing does not warn you with a check engine light. It whispers, then it screams if you are lucky enough to hear it before disaster strikes. One neglected bearing is all it takes to turn your ride into a $3,000 pile of twisted parts. The failure is not gradual. When a bearing lets go, it goes fast. The wheel wobbles, the brake rotor chews itself to pieces, and if it seizes at speed, you are not pulling over, you are going down. The worst part? This is a $0 fix if you know what to listen for. Every month, lift the wheel off the ground, spin it. If you hear a grind or feel grit, that is the sound of metal eating itself alive. Grab the tire at 3 and 9 o'clock, rock it side to side. Any play means the bearing is shot. Replace it now, $90 in parts, maybe an hour of your time. Wait, and you are gambling with your bike, your wallet, and your skin. 2 minutes, once a month. That is all it takes to stop a hidden failure from becoming your most expensive crash. Chain slack is the silent killer that turns a solid machine into a wreck with one careless adjustment. Too tight, and you are grinding your countershaft seal to dust, loading your transmission bearings until they howl, and stretching the chain until it snaps. Too loose, and you are just waiting for the chain to leap off the sprocket at speed. One moment you are rolling, the next you are coasting with a locked wheel or a shattered engine case. Either way, you are looking at damage that can run from a $30 seal to a $3,000 transmission teardown, or a hospital bill if the chain derails in traffic. The fix is not a guessing game. Every owner's manual spells it out. Check your chain slack at the midpoint of the bottom run, halfway between the sprockets. The spec is almost universal, 1 to 1.5 inches or 25 to 38 millimeters of vertical movement. Grab a ruler, push the chain up and down, and measure that deflection. If you are outside that range, you are gambling with your drivetrain. Adjustment takes 5 minutes and a couple of wrenches. Loosen the axle nut, turn the adjusters evenly on both sides, and keep checking the slack with your ruler. It is not about feel, it is about numbers. Once you are in spec, tighten everything down to the manual's torque setting. Spin the wheel, double-check the slack, and you are done. Check your chain every month, or every 800 kilometers, whichever comes first. That is how you keep your power on the ground and your bike out of the shop. Ignore this, and you are not just risking a repair, you are risking the ride itself. The dealer wants you to believe your bike's battery is a ticking time bomb, 2 years and it's toast, so you better pony up for a new one at every service. That LI has cost riders thousands. Here is the real math. A quality battery will last 5, even 7 years if you treat it right. The killer is not age, it is deep discharge. Let your battery voltage drop below 11.5 volts and the plates start to sulfate. That is permanent damage. No charger or jump box will bring it back from the dead. Now, you are stuck paying $200 for a new battery on a 2-year schedule every time you forget the basics. Over a decade, that is $1,000 flushed down the drain. But there is a $60 fix the dealership will not mention. Plug in a battery tender anytime you park for more than 3 weeks. It keeps voltage steady at 13.5 to 14.5 volts, right in the sweet spot. Yuasa's own datasheet spells it out. Consistent charge cycles double battery life. Grab a cheap voltage meter. One press and you'll see if you are safe or on the edge. At 12.6 volts, you are golden. Dip below 12 volts and it is time to act. Below 11.5 volts, you are buying a new battery whether you like it or not. A battery tender is the difference between $1,000 in replacements and just $260 over 10 years. That is $740 back in your pocket for a 5-minute habit. Dealers hate this because it kills their repeat business. Do not let them cash in on your neglect. Use a tender, check your voltage, and stop letting your battery die before it's time. Here's the final move that separates real riders from the ones who keep their mechanic on speed dial: anti-seize compound. Skip it, and you are rolling the dice with every high-temperature bolt on your bike. A $13 tube sitting on the shelf is the difference between a quick wrench job and a $650 nightmare that ends with a snapped exhaust stud and a drill bit jammed in your cylinder head. High-temperature cycles, road salt, and basic neglect lock metal to metal until the only way out is hours of labor and a pile of broken tools. Dealers bank on this. Seized hardware is their emergency payday. The fix is insultingly simple. Crack the cap, dip a clean finger or brush, and wipe a paper-thin smear onto the threads. That is all. Do not cake it on, just enough to coat the threads in a silvery film. Focus on the bolts that see the most abuse: exhaust studs, axle nuts, and spark plugs. Exhaust hardware is the worst offender. 1 season of heat cycling and rain and you will wish you had spent those extra 30 seconds. Axle nuts seize from winter salt and water spray, turning a routine tire change into a day-long battle. Spark plugs and aluminum heads can be a disaster without anti-seize. The next removal could mean stripped threads and a $300 repair bill. A single tube lasts years, covering every critical bolt on your bike over and over. This habit does not just save money, it saves your sanity. Ask any professional mechanic. The ones who reach for anti-seize are the ones who never see their bikes towed in for seized hardware. It is the cheapest insurance in your toolbox. Treat it like gospel. Every time you touch a high-stress bolt, a thin coat goes on. That is how you break the dealership cycle and ride on your own terms. Across all 12 traps, one truth stands out. Knowledge is your shield against profit-driven service myths. These are not just minor oversights, they are dealership revenue streams disguised as rider errors. Today, every unnecessary visit drains your wallet and risks your ride. The real power in maintenance is not money spent, it is understanding what matters and refusing to pay for what does not.